Did you know China once banned all time travel movies? Or that romantic comedies evolved from literal war propaganda? Behind every movie genre lies a fascinating history of censorship, controversy, and cultural conflict. Most fans enjoy films without knowing the shocking origins and bizarre rules that shaped their favorite genres. And today, we're about to change that. Hey movie lovers! If you're new to Top 10 Facts Club, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into pop culture. We're counting down from 10 to 1, so stick around, because fact number 1 reveals a truth about film history that will make you question everything you thought you knew about cinema. Shark 10, the first horror movie, almost vanished forever, for one bizarre reason. Imagine if the entire horror genre died in 1922 because a judge wanted to protect Dracula's copyright. The 1922 silent film Nosferatu wasn't just groundbreaking, it was illegal. Director F.W. Murnau's unauthorized adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula sparked one of cinema's most dramatic legal battles. To avoid copyright claims, Murnau changed names. Count Dracula became Count Orlok, and tweaked the plot, but Stoker's estate saw through the ruse. Florence Stoker, Bram's widow, sued the filmmakers, demanding all copies be destroyed. A German court ruled in her favor, ordering every print burned. But one copy survived. A rogue distributor smuggled it to the US, where copyright laws didn't apply. This single print became the basis for all modern restorations. Without this act of defiance, Max Schreck's iconic vampire, with his rat-like teeth and haunting silhouette, might have been lost forever. The irony? Nosferatu's legal near-death experience made it legendary. Today, it's public domain, meaning anyone can adapt it, including Robert Eggers' 2024 remake. So, next time you watch a vampire movie, thank a copyright criminal. For 9. Why China banned an entire sci-fi concept, not just movies. In 2011, China declared war on time travelers, and not the kind with DeLoreans. China's State Administration of Radio, Film, and Television didn't just ban time travel movies, they outlawed the concept. The 2011 decree accused these stories of disrespecting history and promoting feudalism. The trigger? Shows like Scarlet Heart, where a modern woman falls for Qing Dynasty princes, implying happiness lay in the past, not communist China. But creators found loopholes. By setting stories in fictional dynasties or using parallel worlds, the eternal love, filmmakers dodged censors. Meanwhile, streaming platforms ignored the ban entirely, flooding services with time travel romances. The government's fear wasn't just about history, it was about control. Time travel narratives let audiences imagine escaping modern struggles, a dangerous idea for a regime built on stability. Turns out, the real time machine was streaming apps all along. 8. Western films that got banned for what they really showed about America. These westerns didn't just break rules, they exposed America's darkest myths. Howard Hughes' The Outlaw, 1943, was banned in Maryland for Jane Russell's cleavage. But the real scandal was its critique of frontier morality. Sheriff Pat Garrett spends more time leering at Russell than chasing criminals, painting lawmen as hypocrites. Meanwhile, A Man Called Horse, 1970, enraged Native activists by turning Richard Harris into a white savior who earns Sioux respect through torture. But the most subversive? Sergeant Rutledge, 1960, the first Western with a black lead, Woody Strode. Theaters refused to screen it, fearing backlash over its plot. A black soldier wrongly accused of raping a white woman. These films didn't just entertain. They forced America to confront its racism, greed, and myth-making. Turns out, the Wild West was wilder than we thought, and censors couldn't lasso the truth. 7. The horror director arrested for murder because his film looked too real. Ruggero Deodato didn't just make a horror film, he staged his own criminal trial to prove it wasn't a snuff film. When Cannibal Holocaust premiered in 1980, audiences vomited in theaters, and prosecutors charged Deodato with murder. The film's found footage of cannibals dismembering filmmakers was too convincing, especially the scene where tribesmen impale a woman on a bamboo pole. Police raided Deodato's home, demanding he prove the actors were alive. Problem: the cast had signed contracts to disappear for a year to sell the illusion. Deodato's salvation came from an unexpected source: the film's special effects. In court, he demonstrated how the impalement used a hidden bicycle seat and balsa wood spikes. When lead actor Carl Gabriel York emerged, very much alive, the murder charges collapsed. But the controversy backfired. 31 countries banned the film, and Italy convicted Deodato of obscenity. Yet this notoriety made Cannibal Holocaust the godfather of found-footage horror, inspiring the Blair Witch Project and Paranormal Activity. Sometimes, the scariest thing about horror movies is the director's commitment to realism. How Nazi Germany accidentally created your favorite film style. The Third Reich tried to erase modern art, but instead birthed the shadowy visuals of every crime thriller you've ever loved. When Hitler declared expressionist art degenerate in 1933, he didn't just burn paintings, he forced 800-plus filmmakers, composers, and writers into exile. Directors like Fritz Lang, and cinematographers like Karl Freund, Metropolis, fled to Hollywood, bringing their jagged angles and moody lighting with them. The Nazis banned these techniques as un-German, but Paramount and Warner Bros. Welcomed them as atmospheric gold. By 1941, these refugees had reshaped American cinema. Freund's work on Dracula, 1931, introduced chiaroscuro shadows that later defined film noir. Director Robert Siodmak, who escaped Berlin in 1933, pioneered the genre with The Killers. 1946, using Dutch tilts and fractured narratives learned from Weimar-era classics. Even the concept of the anti-hero traces back to expressionist plays the Nazis burned. The twist? Over 60% of classic noir films were directed or shot by German exiles. Nothing says American crime thriller like art Hitler tried to destroy. Number 5. Hollywood's secret wild years, when films had no rules. Before CGI, Marvel, or even color film, Hollywood had cocaine-fueled orgies. From 1929 to 1934, pre-code Hollywood was a moral free-for-all. Studios churned out films featuring nudity, ecstasy, abortion, the story of Temple Drake, and gangsters as heroes, Scarface. Mae West quipped, "Why don't you come up sometime?" in She Done Him Wrong, 1933, sparking nationwide horniness. The Hays Code killed the party in 1934, banning lustful kissing and sympathy for criminals. But pre-code's legacy lives on. Babyface, 1933, saw Barbara Stanwyck sleep her way to the top. A plot too radical for modern rom-coms. These films weren't just racy, they were radically progressive, tackling poverty, addiction, and female ambition decades before it was cool. Turns out, the golden age of Hollywood was actually the gilded age of grit. 4. The Disney Vault was never real, but it manipulated millions. You didn't miss out on Cinderella because it was rare. You missed out because Disney made you panic, buy it. For decades, Disney told families that beloved films were going back in the vault. What they didn't tell you? The vault didn't exist. It was a fake scarcity tactic, a calculated marketing scheme to inflate demand, drive up urgency, and keep prices high. Every few years, Disney would re-release titles like The Lion King or Beauty and the Beast for a limited time only, then yank them from shelves, claiming they were being locked away for years. Parents rushed to stores in a frenzy. VHS tapes were hoarded. DVDs sold out. Resellers flipped Snow White copies for $200 on eBay. All the while, Disney controlled the timeline. It wasn't about artistic preservation. It was about profit. Even Disney insiders admitted the vault was a corporate invention to control the secondary market and manufacture artificial demand. Then came Disney Plus. Suddenly, all those locked away forever classics were available 24/7. No vault. No wait. Just a massive library unlocked with a subscription fee. Turns out the scariest Disney villain wasn't a witch or a dragon. It was a marketing team in a boardroom inventing a vault that never existed. 3. Rom-coms were designed to manipulate you and still are. Think rom-coms are harmless fun? What if I told you they were invented as wartime propaganda, and now they're wrecking your love life? Romantic comedies weren't born in a Hollywood writer's room. They were engineered. During World War II, the U.S. Office of War Information collaborated with studios to shape public morale. Films like Casablanca weren't just love stories, they were subtle wartime instruction manuals. The message? Sacrifice, love for patriotism. The government used rom-com tropes, meet-cutes, heartbreak, redemption, not for laughs, but to shape behavior. Flash forward, and the weaponization of romance never stopped. Today's rom-coms still push toxic fantasies, Stalker behavior as affection, The Notebook. Soulmates after one conversation, Sleepless in Seattle, and complete personality overhauls for love, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. A 2022 Heriot-Watt University study found that binge-watching rom-coms correlates with higher relationship dissatisfaction and blurred boundaries about healthy love. Worse, teens exposed to these narratives were twice as likely to mistake control for passion. Even so-called feminist rom-coms like The Lost City still push the idea that career women need rescuing, by a shirtless himbo, of course. From war propaganda to emotional sabotage, rom-coms aren't just escapism. They're social programming in a wedding dress. And if you're modeling your love life after Netflix, good luck. 2. Hollywood's forgotten genre, the once legal porn musicals of the 1970s. Real, wild, and buried. There was a time when adult films had dance numbers, and porn musicals were considered Oscar-worthy art. Welcome to the wild 1970s, when the lines between cinema and smut got
very blurry.
Following the success of Deep Throat, 1972, mainstream theaters began showing X-rated films, and studios flirted with a scandalous genre, the pornographic musical. Think Grease, but with less clothing and more pelvic choreography. Films like Alice in Wonderland, an X-rated musical fantasy, 1976, had Broadway-level set design, full musical numbers, and a plot, kind of. It even made $90 million worldwide. And Let My Puppets Come, 1976? Exactly what it sounds like, singing puppets in a porn parody of The Muppet Show. What happened? By the 1980s, the Reagan-era decency push erased the genre from history. Studios were pressured to drop X-rated content. TV deals and corporate investors demanded cleaner fare. Porn retreated into the underground. And the bizarre golden age of singing smut vanished almost overnight. Hollywood once had the guts to make porn with choreography. Now they won't even show a kiss without a focus group. 1. The government cover-up that created modern Hollywood. The CIA didn't just influence movies, they literally wrote scripts to brainwash you. In 1947, the CIA launched Operation Mockingbird, a covert program to plant propaganda in Hollywood. Declassified files show they script-doctored Animal Farm, 1954, to make the communist pigs more evil, funded Rambo III, 1988, as anti-Soviet propaganda, and even dictated dialogue in Zero Dark 30, 2012, to justify torture. Their biggest coup? Argo, 2012, which the CIA co-wrote to downplay Canada's role in the Iran hostage crisis. But the real twist came in 1996, when the CIA opened its Entertainment Liaison Office. To gain access to military tech and locations, directors had to let agents edit scripts. Top Gun, Maverick, 2022, removed cockpit abortion scenes after Navy objections, while The Recruit, 2003, added a subplot about patriotic hackers written by Langley staff. The most insidious example, Iron Man, 2008, was partially funded by the Defense Department to rehab the image of weapons manufacturers post-Iraq War. Next time you watch a Marvel movie, remember, Thanos isn't the only one pulling strings. Conclusion. From CIA script doctors to Nazi art refugees, every frame of cinema hides a secret history. The genres we love weren't born in writers' rooms. They're products of censorship, propaganda, and pure chaos. So the next time you watch a rom-com or superhero flick, ask yourself, what aren't they showing me? Which fact made you rethink your favorite genre? Smash that like button, subscribe, and rant in the comments. Keep watching for more Hollywood secrets, now before the algorithm hides it.